The goal of an average American in the first few years of their career is to earn a minimum of $100,000. Yes, we agree that it's a lot of money. In fact, statistics reveal that 52% of Americans say they need an annual salary of $100,000 to feel financially comfortable. To these people, a $100,000 salary is a major milestone towards achieving financial stability. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case. You might not realize that until you dig a little deeper. And that is why we have created this video. The 10 sad reasons why a $100,000 salary really sucks nowadays. Hello guys, it's Brandon here with Motion Finance. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy content like this so you won't miss out on any of our videos. Now, let's dive right into it. The top reasons that your $100,000 salary target cannot make you financially free. Let's kick off with this. $100,000 isn't $100,000 in reality. You may be wondering what we mean by this expression. Don't worry, we'll explain how it works. To illustrate what we mean, let's examine an individual with a master's degree living in San Francisco and earning $100,000 annually. If they contribute just $5 pre-tax to a 401k plan, you'll discover that their semi-monthly take-home pay is $2,515 and $5,030 per month. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in San Francisco is $2,550. If we subtract that number, we're left with $2,047. After subtracting an average student loan payment of, say, $705 per month, $350 for groceries, and a car payment of $540, all that will be left is $452. Come to think of it, will that be sufficient to purchase gas, pay a cell phone bill, and even save for an emergency? That's to show that $100K doesn't really go that far. Away from the hypothetical talks for a minute, let's talk about something more contextual: tax. It's common knowledge that taxes can significantly reduce the purchasing power of a $100,000 salary, especially when you live in cities with high tax rates. In other words, your location determines how much you're taxed. And because you make $100,000 a year, you're already in a high tax bracket. In some cities in the United States, you could be paying a significant portion of your salary in federal, state, and even local taxes. For example, federal taxes can take up to 24% of your income at this level. If you add state taxes, which can be up to 13% in places like California, then you'd quickly see how your take-home pay doesn't look fat any longer. Now, let's examine the costs of living. Right now, the economy is riding high. Although the U.S. unemployment rate is still on the low, it doesn't determine the true picture of the economic situation. It ignores the fact that living costs, including rent, groceries, transportation, and other essentials, have increased exponentially, and increases in income have failed to keep up with the rising cost. Consider this. Between 1974 and 2017, income for young adults has only grown by $29 adjusted for inflation. Meanwhile, the average price of home sales has increased by up to $39. The same thing applies to national healthcare costs per person, which have increased by $9,000 within the same time frame. Also, a $100,000 salary in the early 1990s would be worth around $232,000 today. That same pay packet in early 2000 would be around $187,000 presently. Imagine you paying around $36,000 a year just on rent. What would you have left when you factor in utilities, internet, and other living expenses? Honestly, the cost of living is a very broad topic that deserves a video of its own. But before the video hits your screen, let's discuss one important part of the cost of living that now makes a $100,000 salary suck: student loans. Year in and year out, the cost of education continues to double, leading students to borrow more than ever. As of the first quarter of 2023, the national total student loan debt stands at $1.77 trillion. Out of this total, more than 92% is federal student loan debt, while the remaining is owed on private student loans. Higher education still remains the ticket to entry for high-paying jobs. In other words, the higher your education level, the more likely you will accumulate more student loan debt. Now, here's where things get interesting. Monthly repayments for such loans can be substantial, reducing your disposable income significantly. The average student loan debt in the US is around $30,000. This amount can be much higher, especially for those with graduate degrees. In this case, monthly payments can run into several $100s, if not more. Priya Malani, the founder of Stash Wealth, a financial firm, once said that 40% of her clients have student loans and most of them owe $80,000 on average. Now, how do you expect individuals to cope with an annual salary of $100,000? Lifestyle inflation is another reason. When people start making money, they tend to start spending more too. This is called lifestyle inflation. At that moment, you begin to think of upgrading your car, moving into a nicer apartment, or eating out more. But the fact that your income keeps going up isn't a reason for you to spend more money. Before you know it, your expenses will catch up to your income and you won't be saving as much as you should. That's a trap that can prevent you from building wealth even when you get a higher salary. In essence, if you get used to living off $2,000 or $3,000 a month, stick to it even if your discretionary income increases. Otherwise, you'd wake up someday only to discover you're spending $8,000 a month. From lifestyle inflation, we move to savings and retirement. When we talk about wealth building, savings is one of the important topics to be discussed. Normally, by earning a $100,000 salary, you should be able to save a good amount. Unfortunately, most people don't. Not much is often left for them to save after paying taxes, taking care of living expenses, and engaging in lifestyle inflation. If a recommendation from financial experts is anything to go by, you're supposed to save at least 15% of your income. On a $100,000 salary, that's $15,000 a year or about $1,250 a month. While it may sound easy, it might not really be doable, especially without discipline and adequate planning. Family obligation is another major reason to look into. See, there's something called the black tax, and it's real. According to a 2021 Vox article, the reality is that for those of us able to generate wealth and reach a level of comfort, we are often also financially supporting family members or paying down debt. Whether you're helping others to pay bills or paying for high childcare costs, such as daycare or school tuition, family obligations can take a great toll on your $100K salary. Now, you're probably thinking that these costs could be avoided. You may be right, but the reality is that such obligations can't be totally avoided. Think about the fact that most high-paying jobs often require that you work longer hours, which can impact your schedule. So, tell us how you won't commit yourself to some of these obligations. Similarly, we have what we call limited job security. High-paying jobs can sometimes be less secure. Here's the reason. Companies often go through restructuring, where they cut down costs. In such situations, high earners are sometimes the first casualty. This lack of job security can add to the stress and make long-term financial planning difficult. In addition, most employees are no longer offered pensions, putting the onus for saving for retirement solely on the worker. While we understand that an emergency fund and a backup plan are necessary for financial security, it can be challenging when your expenses are high. Another reason that makes a $100,000 salary suck is work-life balance. Higher-paying jobs often come with higher levels of responsibility and stress. You may have to work longer hours, engage in more demanding tasks, and face greater pressure to perform. You might also find yourself working late at night, on weekends, or being constantly on call. All of these can take a toll on your mental and physical health. Studies reveal that job-related stress can lead to burnout, anxiety, and other health issues, all of which can diminish your quality of life. Similar studies also reveal that more money doesn't necessarily lead to greater happiness after a certain point. Once your basic needs are met, additional income has a diminishing return on your overall well-being. Hence, there is a need to maintain a healthy work-life balance and focus on meaningful work and not on a high salary alone. The last reason borders on keeping up with the Joneses. When you start earning six figures, you tend to get social pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle. You might feel the need to drive a luxury car, live in a fancy neighborhood, or send your kids to private schools. Not because that's what you need, but simply because your peers are doing it. Often, this pressure leads to unnecessary spending habits, making you incur more debts and making it harder for you to save and invest for the future. Before we wrap up, if you found this discussion as an eye-opener, you'll definitely want to check out our earlier video on 10 jobs AI will replace, where we take a fascinating look at how automation and artificial intelligence are reshaping the job market and their implications for the future of work and salaries. And that's the end of the video. While a $100,000 salary sounds amazing, many millennials still struggle to balance their spending and saving habits, occasioned by a few other reasons already discussed. Since $100,000 no longer goes as far as it once did, you must learn how to balance living for the now and preparing for the future. Do you feel a $100K salary is enough in this present world? Don't hesitate to tell us your views in the comments below. More importantly, while your $100,000 salary might be sucking, it might even be threatened by AI. Check out our latest video on the top 10 jobs that artificial intelligence is here to replace and confirm if you are safe from the earthquake. And while you're at it, be sure to like, comment, and smash the subscribe button to enjoy more insightful videos like this one. Bye for now, and see you in the next one.